It's 8:30. Good morning. I'm Ian Crouch with Hunter News. A man involved in a pursuit through Maitland remains under police guard in hospital after suffering a suspected heart attack. Officers started chasing his Holden Commodore in High Street after they allegedly spotted the car travelling well in excess of the speed limit. The pursuit ended when the Commodore collided with a stationary Subaru Outback at a roundabout at Buchanan, with the driver running off. He was arrested 2 kilometres away in bushland after being tracked down by a police dog. Parliamentary Secretary for the Hunter, Scott McDonald, is welcoming new reforms to the New South Wales criminal justice system, which cost the state government more than $200 million. Under the reform, suspended sentences will be abolished, a new community safety test will be implemented in parole decisions, and sentencing discounts will be altered to encourage offenders to plead guilty. Scott McDonald says the reforms will reduce court backlogs and help keep the community safe.
So long as we're getting safer communities, but also getting a lot of incentive to move the justice system along quicker. Some of these cases are taking close to 2 years. People are left in remand for extended periods of time, and I think there'll be incentives in here now for people to think about their pleas and think about them earlier and not basically game the system, if you like.
Lake Macquarie Council is under fire for failing to take down the portraits of 2 convicted sex offenders from the walls of council chambers. The Herald reports photographs of disgraced former Mayor Douglas Carley and former councillor turned state MP Milton Orkopoulos remain on display alongside every former councillor. Abuse victim support groups say it's a disgrace and the portraits should be taken down. A man who allegedly attempted to rob a Belmont takeaway restaurant last night has handed himself in to police. Police say the 21-year-old tried to enter the Pacific Highway restaurant after closing time at about 10 last night, armed with a machete. It's claimed he demanded money from staff through the closed front door, but they refused and he left. He's been refused bail to appear in Belmont local court today. The head of the federal government's Contamination Task Force has confirmed he'll visit the Williamtown Red Zone next Wednesday. Senator James McGrath will tour the area with Patterson MP Meryl Swanson, raising hopes the government will expedite a solution for those residents who want to leave the area. It comes after the government acknowledged the contamination issue in the budget and committed more than $12 million to a health study. The St Vincent de Paul Society is asking for donations to their winter appeal to help Hunter residents struggling with the cost of living in the coming months. The average electricity debt has risen by more than $100 between 2014 and 2015, and the wholesale price is expected to increase by as much as 20% from July. St Vincent de Paul Executive Officer for Maitland and Newcastle, Denise Lucas, says the community relies on donations, especially when disadvantaged families have to make the difficult choice to stay warm.
If we receive donations of clothes or furniture, obviously they go into our Vinnie's shop, and the funds that are generated there go directly toward supporting people in our local community. If people in the community can support our winter appeal with a donation, certainly go to help people in our local community with those extra costs during the winter months.
Sport for our sponsor, PRD Nationwide East Maitland.
The search for marquee players continues at the Knights. Club boss Matt Gidley has confirmed they're in talks with Cooper Cronk's management about signing with Newcastle. The 33-year-old star playmaker will leave the Melbourne Storm at the end of the season and is still weighing up if he'll continue his NRL career after he moves to Sydney. Cronk is the 4th marquee player the Knights have approached after missing out on Jack Bird, Matt Scott and Kieran Foran. A blast at the referee has cost University player coach Mark O'Brien 6 weeks on the sideline. O'Brien fronted the Newcastle and Hunter Rugby Union judiciary last night and pleaded guilty to abusing referee Des Gilbert during last Saturday's draw with Southern Beaches. And the Newcastle Jets have cut ties with 8 players, including Danish striker Morten Nordstrand. Ben Kantarovski is the only off-contract player to be offered a 1-year extension. Clayton Zane will continue as assistant coach to Ernie Merrick. And the winning numbers in Wednesday Lotto are 14, 4, 39, 29, 38 and 17, and the supplementaries are 9 and 24. 2NURFM News Time, 26 to 9.